Project Management. Chapter 1, Thinking Project. Contents. What is a project? The project sequence. Defining team. Being project manager. Working with your sponsor. Documenting progress. Management. It is the skill moving from ideas to result. It is applicable to every significant initiative we are given or come up with ourselves. It outlines a range of practical understandings and skills that will make your projects both successful and satisfying. It will provide you with common sense solutions to the project management issues you will face as you plan and implement a project. And the tools, tips, and techniques it contains are intended to help you achieve consistent success using minimum resources. In the final analysis, your success as a project manager is down to you. It will depend on your ability to make your vision of what can be, or more influential in your own and other people's thinking and actions that the reality of what currently is. If the following pages guide, challenge, and energize you in this quest, they will have fulfilled their purpose. What is a project? Project. It is a piece of work that is designed to bring about an agreed beneficial change within a fixed time frame using specified resources. It usually requires the coordinated activity of a number of people to achieve that outcome and often incorporate an element of risk. What makes a task project? Projects are the way in which human creativity is the most effectively harnessed to achieve tangible, lasting results. In the past, they may have been called something different, but building a pyramid, painting a ceiling, or founding a nation all required vision, planning, and coordinate effort, essential features of what we now call project. In the practical terms, just about an initiative piece of work that too large of unfamiliar to be completed successfully without some measure of preparation, planning can and usually should be approached as a project. Defining a project. At its simplest level of a project is a one of scope of work defined by three parameters: time, cost, and quality. In other words, is the means by which particular result is delivered using specified resources within a period of time. For most projects, one of these three parameters is fixed, but there is flexibility in at least one of the other two where the quality of the product is fixed. Costs have tendency to rise and deadlines to slip if work is more extensive or complex than was the first envisaged. Where the deadline is fixed, people either throw more resources at the project to make sure that is ready to desirable an essential element. Achieving change. Some projects are highly visible, large, prestigious building project, for example, while for others, none of except those directly involved has any understanding of or interest in what they will deliver. Whatever the size of and nature of a project, the principal aim is always to bring about change that is viewed as beneficial by the person or people sponsoring it. Many organizations use the project management system and method to implement change. The systems include CPM, critical path method, PART, program evaluation and review technique, and PRINCE to project in controlled environments. Some of these were devised for specific industry but have become widespread. The project sequence. The life cycle of any project consists of 6 main phases: initiation, definition, planning, control, implementation, and review. At whichever point you as project manager enter the project's life, be sure to acquaint yourself as fully as possible with any preceding phases you have missed. Defining project phases. The first phases of the project should lead to a clear outline of the overall parameters of time, cost, and quality. These factors form the scope of the project. The initiation and definition phases involve using tools and approaches to identify the situation to be addressed, the desired end result, and the core team responsible for making it happen. Once these are established, the planning phase focuses on detail of what has to be produced and how this can be done most effectively with minimum risk. At this stage, schedule and budget should be finalized and the elements of risk and benefit should be added to scope of the project. Scope overlap. The project scope describes the desired end result of a project. Scope often includes reference to the context in which the end result of the project will be delivered and who the end user will be. There is some overlap between project phases, especially at the start, and the end planning it continues throughout the project. Generally, there comes a point at which significant resources are committed and control phases work begin. Controlling and implementing the schedules and budgets that should establish by planning will allow you to track progress and make adjustments as needed. As the control phase nears completion, focus switch the preparation for the moment when the results will go live. Plan your review stage around predefined criteria by which the project success can be measured. This can this can then be used to declare it complete before moving into phase where resources are allocated and lesson learned. The 6 phases of a project. Initiation. Identifying the problem to be solved or opportunity to be exploited. Definition. Refining your understanding of what you want to achieve by when and with what resources. Planning. Deciding in detail how to achieve the objective, timescales, resources, responsibilities, and communications. Control. Doing the work, monitoring progress, and adjusting the plan according to need. Implementation. Passing what you have created over to those who will be using it and helping them to adjust to any changes. Review. Assessing the outcome and looking back to see if there is anything you could have done differently or better. Maintaining flexibility. While in theory the phases provide a logical sequence, in practice they often overlap. So you need to adapt rolling process of continuous review during the definition, planning, and control phases. You may need to modify the initial scope of a project to fit with the proofs to possible once you have produced a first draft of the plan. Similarly, experience gained from work early in the project may you lead to identify flawed assumptions about the duration and complexity of tasks, leading to the evaluation of timescales, budgets, and other resources. Defining the team. Role clarity is essential if you are to deliver a successful project. As every project is a new, often unique scope of work, and project teams are often built from scratch. Each stakeholder, a person who has influence over or interest in the process or outcome of the project, should be clear about exactly what the role entails and what should be delivered. Key project roles. Manager has day-to-day responsibility for the project at executive level. Manager and sponsor must be in complete agreement about what constitutes success with respect to time, cost, and quality. Sponsor the person who owns and controls the resources needed for the project success, and on whose authority the project rests, client or senior user, coordinates or represents the interests and needs of the end user group. If there are many end users group, each with differing views, there may be multiple clients. Quality assurance. In larger projects, a separate team may be assigned to ensure that all prescribed methodologies carried out properly. Sponsor should do this. Key project roles. Technical specialists. In many projects, success depends on the input of small number of people with essential skills, high levels of crucial access or personal decisions making authority. Buyer. Buyers procure or commission projects on behalf of end user, and they are judged primarily on their ability to source reliable suppliers and negotiable competitive rates on contracts. End users. Often end users are represented by the client, but there are key points in the most project when it is helpful to communicate directly with this group. Knowing your team. Your project team will be generally be made up of people from your organization and contractors, referred to as the internal and external team respectively. Clearly, these people are key stakeholders in the success of your project. So as project manager, you must make their motivation and focus a priority. This may take some skill and effort. Team members often have other work to juggle. In addition, they will be influenced by a second ring of stakeholders over whom you have no direct control or of whom you have no knowledge, such as their line managers, colleagues, clients, and suppliers. Being a project manager. As a project manager, you will be central hub around which your project team is formed. Owning the project where you have been delegated the role project manager or sold an idea upwards to someone capable of sponsoring it. You are likely to have demonstrated personal and managerial competence and commitment to the change under consideration. Competence and commitment are the sorts of solid but colorless word often found management books. However, the last thing a project manager can afford to be colorless indeed. The very best project managers are paradoxical combination of larger life. Taking on responsibility. To be an effective project manager, you must have a balance of tasks and people-related skills. While your ultimate aim is to deliver a result, success comes from building diverse individuals into a strong team and motivating them to produce quality results within the requisite time frames. Often you will achieve this through personal determination, creativity, and powers of persuasion. Working with your sponsor. Engaging the sponsor. Your sponsor should be the individual rather than the group, committee, or team who owns the resources required to make the project successful and will act the final arbiter of success. This will be based partly on hierarchically seniority and partly on personal authority. Effective sponsorship is one of the key determinants of your success. So wise project manager invest time and effort firstly in selecting the right person if you have a choice, secondly forging the right relationship, and thirdly providing the sponsor and information and arguments he or she needs to defend champion project as necessarily. Meeting your sponsor. Your first meeting with the sponsor of your project is a key moment of influence. This meeting should not be just about the detail of the project, but is also establish how you and the sponsor will work together to make the project succeed. Give high priority to agreeing the communication channels and escalation procedures. This will outline how when to involve the sponsor when things go wrong. In larger projects, key team members such as senior user or technical specialists may also be invited to attend this initial meeting with the sponsor. Choosing your own project sponsor. If you are in a position to choose your sponsor, your goal should be to achieve just the right balance between authority and accessibility. While it's generally helpful to have as senior a sponsor as possible, you also need someone for whom the project is significant enough to command their active interest. A sponsor who keeps up to date with your progress and is aware of potential or actual issues will be well placed to make decisions or help you overcome any opposition or obstacles to project without the need for extensive briefing. You need to be able to consult your sponsor quickly when things go wrong and feel comfortable that you are more than just one commitment among many. How to forge a good sponsor manager relationship. Be clear on your role. This will give the sponsor confidence that you are the right person for job. Express the clear expectation to ensure your set worthwhile contract upon which to build relationship. Take time to establish personal rapport with the sponsor. Ask about your sponsors, past projects, and project managers to establish their style of working and likes and dislikes. Use example and scenarios to agree how you should interact when things go wrong. Find out from them what information is required, when or how frequently it is needed, and in what format. Identifying poor sponsorship. Beware the sponsor who cancel or postpones your meetings at short notice, or who fails to get your project on the agenda or key decisions making meetings. Quickness to apportion blame or to get unnecessary embroiled in detail are other indication that your sponsor has become detached from the aims and progress of your project. Think very carefully about what you should do and who you might speak of it. Your sponsor's lack of engagement starts to threaten the success of your project. Documenting progress. Standard documents and agreed circulation and sign-off procedures increase the efficiency of project teams and improve communication, particularly between sponsor and manager. If your organization does not yet have a standard set of project documents, you can enhance your reputation considerably by producing your own. Designing documentation. Having a suite of carefully designed project documents allow information to be carried over from one project milestone to the next, or even transferred from project to project, and helps occasional stakeholders find information quickly within a particular document. Simple formats work best and should incorporate a cover sheet identifying a document, the project to which it refers, and the key stakeholders involved. Never underestimate presentation. People are quick to judge based on first impressions, and if your paperwork looks professional, they will treat you as such unless you subsequently prove otherwise. Using document sign-offs. The practice of physically signing off documents is a very useful way to get people to take projects seriously. However, any decisions about whether to use it needs to be sensitive to the culture of your organizations. If people are generally good and engaging with projects and delivering on promises, then asking for signatures may be seen as unnecessary aggressive. If this is not the case, a firmer line is required. Implementing a policy of signing of documents is the most easily achieved if you employ it from the start with all documents formats having space for signatures. Key project documents. Each the 6 phases of your project requires different documentation to record important details depending on the size and nature of your project. This may include initiation phase, mandate, agreement of need for the project and its aims, brief, a description, views resolved or the opportunity to exploit. Definition phase, project initiation document or PID defines what the project must deliver and why. Business case, the financial figures behind the opportunity. Risk log, a record of all risks and approaches to resolution. Planning phase, schedule and requires the plan in detail including completion dates and resource requirements. Quality plan, what process will be. Control phase, changes to scope, agreed modification to the original brief, milestone reviews, progress against schedule and budget, quality reviews, confirmation that processes are being followed, implementation phase, user acceptance tests, reports and sign-offs from the end users at all level, implementation schedule, the plan for how the project will be handed over the end users, review phase, post-implementation review, accesses, what the project has been delivered, lesson learned, review how things could been done better. And that's all for chapter 1. And thank you for watching.